ESPN Radio.
And good morning, NASCAR fans. Welcome to Green, White, Checkered here on ESPN Radio. PJ Zucco, along with Brandon Bain and Dan Foulds, as always, here on the show. And have a lot to talk to you about today. For the last time of the year, we have two races that have been completed so far this week. You have last Sunday with the Daytona Roval that we'll talk about, and of course the NASCAR Cup Series with its last doubleheader this weekend at Dover, with Denny Hamlin dominating and winning that first race from Dover yesterday. We'll have another one coming up at 4 o'clock today, and a full day of racing elsewhere with the Indy 500 at 1 o'clock, and the NASCAR Xfinity Series finishing their doubleheader from Dover. They start at 1 o'clock as well. But guys, last week, a surprising but entertaining and impressive race there from the Cup Series at the Daytona Roval. Thought we were going to see much more calamity and craziness. Instead, we only saw a few wrecks here and there, and some of them were even mechanical. But any way you look at it, not very surprising. Chase Elliott dominates, leads 34 laps, holds off Denny Hamlin, who got that late surge on the restart with about 5 or 6 laps to go. Chase Elliott was able to hold him off and win his third straight road course race. First time that's been done in NASCAR history. 3 straight road courses, 3 straight Chase Elliott wins.
Yeah, PJ, it's a pretty neat deal, man. I mean, that kid is just on fire as far as road courses, man. And he's had a really good season. You know, some ups and downs. Kind of got hot there for a little while and then not. But, yeah, that road course, man, let me tell you, that the second Roval, I guess, if you want to call it that, it was an amazing race, man. It was pretty good. Saturday, you see all this carnage and a lot of cars getting tore up and people making mistakes and missing corners. And it kind of, you know, Sunday you're going, all right, well, it's going to be a lot of the same stuff. You know, it's going to happen. And for those guys to go out there and race that course, no practice, no qualifying, and have the few little incidents that they had was just absolutely amazing. You know, like you said, Harvick and Christopher Bell, you know, him getting punted that one time, and I know that I think he spun out by himself one other time. But other than that, it was very few and far between, but pretty good there, man. I mean, you know, the aces of the road course, and today they kind of rose to the top there again. You know, you had Chase Elliott winning, you know, Martin Truex right there. I mean, Kyle Busch had a really good run going, had put together a really solid day. You know, had the mechanical problem with the rotor, fixed that up to try to save some points, come back out, and ended up tearing up the whole race car. But really neat deal, man. I was glad to see, you know, NASCAR put something together for these guys with not being able to go to Watkins Glen, which that's one of my favorite road courses. I think that track's amazing. But get something put together where we're not racing another oval back on a road course, and you really saw some guys who don't have the best equipment but are really good drivers be able to showcase that talent. You know, they might not got the finishes that they deserved out of it with the cautions falling the way they are, or pit strategy, or whatever it may be. But I mean, McDowell and Bubba Wallace both had really good runs. You know, you had Gralla there, that first time ever sitting in a Monster Cup car and drove that 3 car up there, I think for a top 10, I'm pretty sure. So just an amazing race, man. Was really happy to see it, and I hope they make it a staple in the NASCAR schedule in the future.
Yeah, so that was a tremendous race to be able to watch. I heard them refer to one of the, I guess I'll call it an obstacle, as a chicane. So I looked up chicanery, and it turns out that chicanery was when you achieve an objective through trickery. And there was some serious trickery going on with the creation of that course. It was fun to watch that, and it was fun to think about what NASCAR's objective was, you know, when they created the road course race. So one of the oft-heard complaints about NASCAR is all these guys do is go fast and turn left. Well, on a road course, it ain't all left turns. The Saturday, the Xfinity race, you know, that led us to believe that there was just going to be, you know, bumper pins. It was, as Lawrence Bennett said, you know, it was sponsored by a company, you know, involved with bowling, and Lawrence thought that at turn 1 that everybody was going to crash. Well, they didn't, but there was some fireworks, and there was some good show. And then the race had, you know, my favorite thing from the novice spectator perspective is I like it when you're getting near the end and the drama is so heightened that you have to get the heck up off the couch, and you're standing there in front of your TV with your face plastered up against it, and you're screaming at the TV. And that is exactly what happened at that road course race. Because I knew Hamlin was going to run that kid down. I mean, I just knew he was going to do it. And you're literally almost holding your breath at the end. Like, you know, and don't you wonder how does the kid who's winning the race, how does Chase Elliott not get distracted by this guy in his rearview mirror who is running him down, who's fixing to pass you? You know, it's like the pressure has got to be so intense to make a mistake. But he didn't, and he held on to it, and he demonstrated that he's a pro. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, you're exactly right, Dan. I think that shows just how impressive this kid Chase Elliott is in being able to have a veteran, a good road course racer like Denny Hamlin behind him and to not bat an eye. And you have guys in NASCAR history who have made a name for that. I mean, you have the Intimidator, Dale Earnhardt, who, of course, roughed some people up as well. But, you know, that was his main thing. When you saw him in the rear view, you were looking more times out the rear view than the windshield. And you can't drive like that or he's going to get past you. Denny Hamlin had a moment like that at Sonoma where going into the last corner, he totally missed it because he was too busy looking in his rear view at Tony Stewart, and Tony Stewart ended up getting the victory. So, yeah, that shows you how impressive that run was and that finish was by Chase Elliott to be able to get that victory. And like that you pointed out those great finishes, Brandon, as well. Kaz Grala comes home 7th in his first NASCAR race. Michael McDowell came home 10th, and Bubba Wallace had a 9th place finish that he was about to have before he got punted there on that final lap. But solid races all around by those guys. Huge win by Chase Elliott. And guys, before we move on, I want to get your final opinions on this. You know, at first I thought this was just going to be a one-time visit to the Daytona road course, but I saw some great things that you like to see out of a road course and a little bit of everything. You had the spaced out racing and the wide open track in some areas where guys were able to show how good they were and how fast they were. And then you had some of the passing zones, 5 or 6 passing zones on that racetrack where everything got crammed up a little bit and you could really be able to move your way to the front if you had a good enough car and made the right decision. So, guys, with all that being said, do you want to see NASCAR make this Daytona road course a part of the schedule? Not taking a different Daytona race away, but instead adding this to the schedule, maybe taking another track's date on the schedule instead.
PJ, I don't think I'd mind it at all. We talked about it a little bit on Wednesday, you know, and we were on opposite sides of the fence. I'm not a huge road course fan. I like it. They're exciting races. I think it's really cool, but to me, that's not NASCAR. NASCAR to me is, you know, the mile and a half, the short tracks, the restrictor plate. But it would not hurt my feelings at all to see one of the mile and a half, you know, the cookie cutters, as we like to call them, give up the date for this Roval. You'd have 2 true road courses in Sonoma and Watkins Glen. And then you have the 2, I guess you would say, hybrid or new age road courses in the Charlotte Roval and Daytona road course. And like I said, it leads an opportunity for these guys who are underfunded to really showcase their talent and drive equipment that is not, you know, up to the standards of the elite teams and get really good finishes. And on top of that, a little bit of drama is always in the road courses. So I think it's really good. I would love to see them make it a staple for sure. You know, 2 true road courses, 2 Rovals. I just think that would be good for the sport. And what better place than Daytona? The weather's good there pretty much almost year-round. You know, you might have to deal with some rain here and there, but other than that, I mean, it's good year-round. And, you know, just to say one more quick thing, you know, Chase Elliott is showing everybody right now why he was such a big deal coming up and why there was so much talk about him before he got in that seat of a cup car. His talent is just, it amazes me at the age that he is and the wins that he has and the way that he's done it on some of the tracks he's done it. It's just amazing, man. But, yeah, I definitely think I would love to see NASCAR revamp that schedule and throw that Daytona Roval in there and, you know, maybe even do some other shakeups with that schedule.
So as Big says, you know, the weather is good in Florida all the time, but I'm going to tell you, because I grew up there in DeLand, about 15 miles from the track, the weather is good all the time, but the weather is spectacular in the winter months, which is why that's where NASCAR started, on the beach. And I think they've got an opportunity to, you know, I'm always saying variety is the spice of life, and NASCAR realizes now, I believe, that this time, right now, is the time to make big, bold moves and do different things. So they're getting eyeballs, you know, watching them that have not ever done that before. This is the time where they can come up with different ideas and do different things. And sure, you know, more stuff in January and February. Get people down to Daytona when it's snowing in Peoria. Go south, young man. Go have fun.
Exactly. Why not? This is the time to make some changes and to see what happens from it and bring NASCAR more fans and even more entertainment. So if you've got an idea, if you're NASCAR, if you got an idea, now is the time to play it. I know they'll be going back to the Daytona road course for the Clash before the Daytona 500. We'll see how that runs out, and of course we'll see what kind of changes NASCAR makes to the schedule moving forward. But when we come back, we'll talk about Dover. First race complete there of NASCAR's Cup Series doubleheader. Denny Hamlin gets the victory. We'll talk about that when we come back here on Green White Checkered on ESPN Radio.
Choose a career that matters.
Radio, PJ Zucco, Brandon Bain, and Dan Foulds with you on the show. And guys, the first half of NASCAR's Cup Series doubleheader was completed there yesterday, and to say Denny Hamlin dominated is an understatement, leading 115 laps and grabbing the victory. Martin Truex Jr. comes home second. He did lead 88 laps, but led on that final stretch after a good pit stop, but it was only a matter of time before Denny Hamlin tracked him down. Hamlin ended up passing him with about 10 laps to go, and a 1-2-3 Joe Gibbs Racing finish with Kyle Busch coming home third. We'll see if that positive finish can end up giving him some momentum as he finally gets a really good finish in a top five for Kyle Busch. Kevin Harvick and Chase Elliott round out your top five. But, guys, once again, Denny Hamlin able to win at Dover. His first win at Dover, but his sixth win of the year.
You know, it's almost like a heavyweight boxing match between two legends there, PJ, with Harvick and Hamlin. I mean, you can flip a coin week to week and pick one or the other, and you know, 80%, 90%, one of them's going to win, man. And as I said on Wednesday, man, I had that feeling Hamlin's just it was going to show up and get his run, and it blew my mind to see the statistic yesterday. You know, 29 career races there, and that was his first win at Dover. I mean, the way that he dominated that race yesterday, I mean, they got some catching up to do today, for sure. Some guys need to make some pretty good changes to be able to keep up with that 11. But what a great run for Truex there again. Kind of been the story of his season. You know, when he's out front and leading, it seems like he kind of gives it up late, or you know, somebody else comes on a little stronger, but still putting together a real solid run, real good season. And Kyle Busch, man, I tell you, there again, ran really good at that Daytona road course. Didn't quite get the finish he really needed, and it kind of leaves you scratching your head. You know, one stage win, no race wins this year for him, and for him to come home third and have that really good solid run, just a real good kind of solid day, I think speaks volumes for what they're able and what they're capable to do. Just putting it all together, how hard it is as a sport for these teams to come in and put these race cars together and perform at the high level they do week in and week out. It just shows you, you know, sometimes some of the best get caught up and fall behind the field a little bit, and it takes them a little bit to catch up, man. But, I mean, what a good track, man. I absolutely love Dover, you know, concrete, high speed, 1 mile. I mean, I think there again, as Dan said, spices, you know, variety of life, and that gives something a little bit different, man. I know you have, PJ. I've never had the opportunity to go and see Dover, but it's definitely on my NASCAR bucket list of tracks I'd love to go check out. But I tell you, it leaves you ready for today's race. It really does. You know, you're looking at it and you're going, man, there was a lot of good cars out there yesterday. Who's going to show up a little bit better today, or is there going to be any mistakes, or is it going to be a little bit more of a you know, action caution filled race? And I mean, even on top of that, look at the bubble chase now. You had William Byron to the good in that 16th place yesterday, starting that race, and now Jimmie Johnson has taken that over. I think he overcame 28 points is what he gained yesterday. Back and forth. I mean, today is the last mile race. Next week we go into that Daytona restrictor plate race, and as we all know, anything can happen in those, and especially when it comes down to the cutoff for the chase, you are going to have a lot of guys that are hungry just to get that win. So if a Ricky Stenhouse is running third with an opportunity to win that race, I don't think there's anything that's going to prevent him from doing everything he's got to do to get that car into the chase, man. Really excited about yesterday's race, man. Even more excited about today's race. Cannot wait to see what goes on out there on that track.
Yeah, so that Monster Mile was a double dose of Dover drama. Well, that was actually the first half of a double dose of Dover drama. Absolutely looking forward to seeing the second half of that today. It's funny, it's like today's going to be like deja vu all over again, because they're still calling it the Dryden 311.
Right.
Yeah.
So Hamlin just ran down Martin Truex.
Yeah.
You know, and I had money on the 18 car to win, my little game of skill thing that we do at Coach's Corner. And so, I got to be careful about who I root for, or Lawrence will be bopping me about the ears. But, you just watched him come in, and it was there again, one of those things when, you're up off the couch, and I'm like, come on, 19, come on, 19, come on, 19, but it was not to be. And I don't know if you guys picked up, but actually Martin was a little disappointed with Eric Almirola, to the point of calling him an idiot in a post-race press conference. He said, I don't care where the guy wants to drive on the track, but every time I tried to move up to get some air, he'd move up and block me. And Almirola was a couple laps down. So there's some of that NASCAR drama, which I'm learning about, which Big knows about, and man, it was going on. Did Almirola keep Truex from winning the race? I don't think so. I think Truex's car went away from him at the end there. But in his mind, anyway, it was a real big deal. Let's talk about Jimmie Johnson. I was kind of thinking that Jimmie Johnson might win there yesterday because he has won there so many times. And he might win today. So he had that 7th place finish yesterday, and that leapfrogged him with Willie Byron, got him into the provisional NASCAR playoff. So it'll be real interesting to see how he does there today. Johnson has 11 of his 83 wins at Dover. That's a big freaking number, guys. But his last win of a NASCAR Cup race, get ready for this, was June 4th, 2017. That's 118 starts ago. So it's time for JJ to get out there and show how it's done.
Yeah, we'll see what he can do today. He's been doing really well lately with his equipment. He's been getting great cars from the garage and working well with them. You look at the past 2 races, a 4th place finish there on the Roval for Jimmie Johnson, solid top 5. Good points day, and then yesterday a 7th place finish, and he's been pretty good on these second days of doubleheaders, so we'll have to look out for Jimmie Johnson today. It's good to see him finishing off these races that he has good runs in, and that is a sign of a champion in a difficult position. Can they get it done? Can they grit their teeth and make it through? Jimmie Johnson is doing that, and is certainly showing his experience and what he can do in the race car over the past few weeks. We'll see if he can do that today and at Daytona next week. Also agree, clean air is so important, but I think no matter what, Martin Truex was going to get past for the lead. Denny Hamlin was just too good. His car too good there at Dover, and I think no matter what, he was going to get tracked down and passed there by Denny Hamlin for the win yesterday. And Brandon, I'm right there with you. I completely agree. Love Dover. Certainly enjoyed my time there in the races I got to attend. And it's just, it's so interesting. It feels like a big track, but it's 1 mile. It's 1 mile that feels like Michigan with a ton of passing lanes and a ton of good racing as well. And also you have the dive into the corner, the high banking corners coming at the end of those straightaways, as well as a self-cleaning racetrack angling down towards that inside wall. We saw it with Kurt Busch. Once you spin out, you're most likely going to that inside wall. That provides for some interesting wrecks and racing as well. So Dover, one of my favorite racetracks for sure. But guys, we'll come back. We'll talk about the second part of this doubleheader at Dover for the Cup Series when we come back on Green, White, Checkered on ESPN Radio.
More with PJ Zucco. It's Green, White, and Checkered on ESPN Radio.
And welcome back to Green, White, Checkered here on ESPN Radio. PJ Zucco here with you alongside Brandon Bain and Dan Foulds. Remember, you can catch Brandon Bain and Dan Foulds every Wednesday at 6 o'clock at Coach's Corner for Rubbin and Grubbin. Go check them out at Coach's Corner. Some great food, great cold drinks, and of course a whole lot of fun there from Coach's Corner. And while you're there taking the guys, talk to them about some NASCAR, listen to their opinions and whatnot. Obviously, they will have the midweek news there on a Wednesday night, as well as cover what happens in today's Cup race and looking forward to next week's race at Daytona, the regular season finale. But, guys, a full day of racing today. Not only do we have the Grinding 311 Part 2 from the Cup Series at 4 o'clock, also, the Xfinity Series will finish their doubleheader from Dover today. Justin Allgaier got the win there yesterday, so congratulations to him. Also, the Indy 500 at 1 o'clock today. So wanted to give a shout-out to the Indy 500. Normally run earlier in the year. Obviously, COVID had other plans, but happy that they're getting their season back going. And, of course, they're able to get that Indy 500 in. Marco Andretti starts on the pole and we'll hope to break that Andretti curse, and hopefully it won't be there today. We'll see how everything winds up in Indianapolis. But guys, the Cup Series racing at 4 o'clock today at Dover, and Matt DiBenedetto, Ryan Newman on the front row after the invert. I, for one, am happy they're doing the invert instead of going with the algorithm. One last time here for 2020 and for the last doubleheader of the season. Denny Hamlin, race winner from yesterday, will start 20th. Martin Truex Jr. starting 19th. But I'm happy they're doing that, guys. What do you think? Can Denny Hamlin fight his way up through the pack? Who do you think is going to have a solid race today, and who comes home with the victory?
Yeah, I mean, PJ, on such a big day of racing, I mean, what a better place to go check it out than up at Coach's Corner, man. And I tell you what, if anybody does stop by there, the guys up there at Rubbin and Grubbin, as you got to see Wednesday, PJ, we got a raffle going on for, the Ronald McDonald House Coastal Empire. So if you do go by Coach's and you're interested, it's just a nice little end-of-summer care package, a nice cooler, some adult beverages, and a couple tickets to a good Leonard Skinner cover band that's going to be up there at Coach's here around first weekend of September. So definitely, if you guys do stop by, go check it out, watch some racing, grab some drinks, some food, and donate a little money to a good cause. But yeah, man, if we're talking the Dover second part today, I said it Wednesday. After watching yesterday, it really kind of makes me second guess myself, but I got to stick with my gut, man. I think Chase Elliott comes out today and gets it done. We know Denny Hamlin's going to be there. We know Martin Truex is going to be there. And it could be a Hamlin show again, man. It kind of goes back to this, sometimes you just got to put lipstick on the pig and close your eyes, and I mean, today's going to be one of those days where a lot of guys might be closing their eyes and wishing for the best, man, because as you said, PJ, we're going to a restrictor plate race next week to set the field for that chase. And I tell you what, if some people have some bad luck today, it's going to be really hard for them to not have any bad luck at Daytona. We all know one bad thing happens, you can be running 20th, the guy in first wreck, and you get your day ruined all the way in the back of the field. But yeah, man, excited about today's racing, man. And like I said, got to go with the gut. Still think Chase Elliott's going to come find a way today at Dover to catch up to Hamlin and those other Toyotas and get the job done in that 9 Chevrolet, man.
Well, I'm going to let my heart speak from my head, and I'm going to say that I hope that Jimmie Johnson wins this race today. I've been able to keep up with his career sort of lightly over the years, and I knew that he was spectacular, all along. And this is his last year, and this will be his last time racing at Dover. And he mentioned that he's got some bittersweet emotions about that. I really hope that he can pull that off. As I mentioned on the break, guys, it's only been 3 months since NASCAR restarted. In the middle of this freaking coronavirus pain in the tail pandemic. 3 months, they're caught up. Next week, when they go to Daytona, they're back on track. It's still kind of bizarre. We've had some races where there were folks in the stands socially distanced, but when you look at Dover, and there's not a soul in a seat, which is kind of a strange thing. And I know it was strange for the drivers, in the first few races. I think they've cottoned to the fact now that there are millions of people, hundreds of millions of people all over the globe, watching them and jumping up and down in front of their TVs. But it is just kind of weird. Obviously looking forward to when we can return to life as we used to know it, and that'll be great.
Yeah, most definitely looking forward to that. It's good to see some tracks with fans in the stands, but Dover this weekend not having that. We'll get back to Daytona next weekend. I know there will be fans there for that. But, Dan, I think you were looking at my notes there. I'll tell you what. I think Jimmie Johnson, I have a good feeling about it. I said it on Wednesday. These second races during the doubleheaders, Jimmie Johnson has had good cars. So I feel like his team, maybe like Kyle Busch, his team likes having that practice race, quote unquote, the day before to be able to get their stuff ready for the next day, and they've proven that they can put really good cars together for that next day, for that second day. It proved it at Charlotte and at Darlington. Now they didn't get the finishes because of mistakes on the track or mistakes not getting everything right, and then getting that disqualification that they got at Charlotte. But they've proven that they've been able to be really good at these second races. So my heart and my head both going with Jimmie Johnson. We'll see if he can outlast these other guys. If I had a sleeper that I wanted to point to also, of course, Chase Elliott was strong yesterday and can certainly win today. Don't be surprised also if Clint Boyer comes back and has another solid finish. 2 sixth-place finishes in a row. Was good there at Dover yesterday. Don't be surprised to see him in the top 10. And, of course, you have Kyle Busch and Martin Truex, Denny Hamlin, but they got to navigate through the field to be able to get to the front. So we'll see if they can do that. Hopefully we're not seeing another Hamlin domination race just for the sake of excitement, but if we do, then just all the more impressive it will be for sure. But guys, got to get out of time here on the show, but I certainly appreciate you guys being on once again. For Brandon Bain and Dan Foulds, I am PJ Zucco. This has been Green, White, Checkered on ESPN Radio every Sunday from 9 to 9:30. Now, hope you have a fantastic race day and rest of your week. Stay safe. God bless.
This has been Green, White, and Checkered on ESPN Radio with your host, PJ Zucco. Tune in next time on ESPN Radio.